It started as a fairly average Monday morning. A couple of kids got into a small fight, but we usually don't step in unless it's anything serious. Anyway, it's getting kind of late and I only had an hour left. Two kids got into a pretty big argument. Lots of hair pulling, pushing, etc. I was feeling pretty tired that day, probably still hungover from the night before. Didn't really bother to do anything because it looked like their parents had noticed anyway. One of the kids was fairly older than the other one, and the mother of the younger kid was pretty pissed off that her kid was being bullied. The mother of the older kid was your typical lazy parent who doesn't give a shit about their child is up to and insisted it wasn't her problem. Now, the mother of the younger kid looked extremely pissed off before they had even began to talk. I could visibly see her face growing redder and redder as each second passed. She told the other mom that she should bother to raise her kid properly and said that her daughter should give her child an apology. The mother just shrugged it off and turned away. Apparently, the mother of the younger girl didn't like that because within seconds, she grabbed her by the hair and slammed her face into one of the plastic slides. The rest of the kids simply watched in horror as the mother proceeds to push the woman headfirst into the ball pit while desperately trying to kick her in the head. The last thing I saw, she jumped up and tried to elbow drop her pro wrestling style. Quickly got my manager, who called the police. The mother was thrown into the police car, and I'm pretty sure they had to get an ambulance for the other woman. Needless to say, the place closed early that day. They didn't reopen it for almost a week.